You're paying for Netflix. You haven't watched it in 6 weeks. You know this. You open the app occasionally, scroll for 12 minutes, find nothing, and close it. Every month, $15.99 is automatically charged from your account, silently, without asking. You keep meaning to cancel, but you haven't. Now, multiply that by the gym you joined in January, the Spotify you use twice a week, the meal kit that sends boxes you keep putting in the fridge and throwing out on Sunday, the magazine app you downloaded during a flight 8 months ago. The average American pays for 4.5 streaming services and uses only 2. The average American spends $273 a month on subscriptions and guesses $86 when asked. That gap isn't carelessness. That gap is neuroscience. Subscriptions didn't always work this way. 30 years ago, a subscription was a magazine in your mailbox. You chose it consciously every year by writing a check and mailing it back. The friction of renewal was built into the design. You had to actively decide to stay subscribed. Then came the internet. Then came automatic billing. Then came the free trial. And the entire psychology of the transaction flipped. Before automatic billing, you had to actively choose to continue the subscription. After automatic billing, you have to actively choose to stop it. That reversal is not accidental. It is one of the most deliberate and well-researched design decisions in the history of consumer technology. In 2003, a team of behavioral economists at MIT ran a series of experiments on what they called the default effect. When people are automatically enrolled, cancellation rates drop by up to 40% compared to opt-in models, even when the product and the price both are identical and the person is told exactly what they're signing up for. The default is not a billing preference. The default is a psychological weapon. Here's what nobody tells you about why canceling feels harder than it should. Your brain has a negativity bias, a well-documented tendency to weigh losses more heavily than equivalent gains. Psychologists Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky quantified this in 1979. Losing $50 produces roughly twice the psychological pain of gaining $50 producing pleasure. Now apply that to your gym membership. Canceling the gym means losing access. Even if you haven't been in 4 months, your brain registers that cancellation as a loss, a concrete, immediate, certain loss of something you have right now. Keeping the gym membership costs you $45 a month, but that's a future cost, abstract and spread across time. Your brain, as we established in episode 1, treats the future like a stranger. So your nervous system runs the calculation. Certain loss now or abstract cost later. It chooses the abstract cost every time, but it goes deeper than that. There's a second mechanism at work, one that subscription companies specifically engineer into their products. It's called the sunk cost effect. You've spent $540 on that gym membership this year. You've used it 9 times. That's $60 per visit. And every month you don't cancel, your brain runs a desperate hope. Maybe this month I'll go more. Maybe the money I've already spent won't be wasted. The rational response, the economically correct response, is that money is gone regardless of what you decide today. Your future choice cannot recover a past cost, but your brain doesn't process it that way. Your brain experiences the unrecovered sunk cost as an open wound, and keeping the subscription feels somehow like keeping the wound open means it might still heal. Here's the third mechanism, and this one is the hardest to see. Subscriptions don't just sell you access. Over time, they sell you an identity. The person who has Netflix is someone who stays current, who relaxes properly, who has cultural reference points. The person who has a gym membership is health conscious, who values fitness, who is the kind of person who works out. Notice I said has a gym membership and not goes to the gym. Social psychologist Henri Tejfel's research on social identity theory shows that humans define themselves substantially through group membership and the symbols of those groups. Your subscriptions have quietly become symbols of who you are or who you intend to be. Canceling Netflix isn't just canceling a streaming service. At the level your brain processes it, it's canceling the version of yourself who watches Netflix. Canceling the gym isn't just canceling a billing arrangement. It's admitting that you are not right now a person who goes to the gym. That admission costs something, and most people would rather pay $45 a month than make it. Let's make this concrete. $15.99 Netflix plus $9.99 Spotify plus $45, gym plus $60 meal kit plus $12.99 magazine app. That's $143.97 a month. $1,727.64 a year. If you invested this $1,727 a year at a 7% average annual return, a conservative S&P 500 estimate over 20 years that grows exponentially to $89,400, nearly $90,000 from subscriptions most people couldn't list from memory if you asked them right now. The money isn't the only cost. The cognitive load of managing multiple subscriptions, the guilt of unused services, the low-grade financial anxiety of not knowing exactly what amount leaves your account each month. These have a psychological cost that compounds alongside the financial one. The conventional advice: audit your subscriptions, cancel what you don't use. You've heard it. You've probably done it once, partially, and 6 months later, sign back up for 2 things you canceled. Here's what the behavioral science actually prescribes. First, conduct a reverse trial. Instead of asking, do I use this enough to justify the cost, ask a different question. If I didn't have this subscription, would I pay to get it back today? That question forces a present tense decision rather than a future hope projection. It bypasses the sunk cost entirely. Second, create active friction. Subscribe to every service from a single card you have to manually top up each month. The moment automatic becomes deliberate, your relationship to the cost changes completely. Studies show that paying with cash or deliberate transfers reduces spending by 15 to 20% compared to automatic billing, because the pain of payment, which credit cards and auto billing are specifically designed to eliminate, is actually useful information for your brain. Third, schedule a quarterly subscription audit, not annually. Quarterly. Put it in your calendar right now. 4 times a year, 15 minutes, you review every recurring charge. The audit itself isn't the intervention. Knowing the audit is coming is the intervention. It changes how you sign up for things in the first place. None of these require willpower. They require changing the architecture of the decision. The same principle we talked about in episode 1. The trap is structural. The exit is also structural. The subscription economy was not designed for your benefit. It was designed by people who studied the default effect, the sunk cost fallacy, and identity theory, and then built billing systems that exploit all 3 simultaneously. Every free trial, every auto renewal, every carefully worded cancellation page that asks, "Are you sure?" and then offers you a discount. These are not accidents. They are the product. Understanding that doesn't make you cynical. It makes you accurate. And accurate is the beginning of free. Next week, we go into something that affects every professional who's ever gotten a promotion, a bonus, or even a compliment at work. The psychology of social comparison, why the people around you are quietly setting your spending baseline without you ever agreeing to it. If this changed how you see your subscriptions, subscribe. Share it with someone who keeps renewing things they don't use, and leave a comment. Which subscription do you pay for but never use? See you next week.